Good evening. My name is Cruiser Chris, and we did the person-centered planning video, but we had some technical difficulties, so we're going to do it again. Today's video is going to be about person-centered planning. According to NSW government, person-centered approach is where the person is placed at the center of the services and treated as a person first. The focus is on the person and what they can do, not what their disability, not what their condition or disability supports should be focused on. Achieving the person's aspirations and being tailored to their needs and unique circumstances. Today's story will be about my chair. For my wheelchair needs, I have been working with an assistive technology professional, or ATP, and his technician. When it comes to repairs that have to be done on my chair, I am very particular about who I let touch my equipment. So there is a whole backstory, but I won't bore you with that. But to make a long story short, I have been working with a certain ATP. Let's call him T whenever possible. I have been friends with him since I was a little kid and feel comfortable with him. I would like to work with the former technician of this ATP. Let's call him P for short. I also reserve the right to work with him at any time possible. And I am fine with A, who is now P's technician. I am comfortable with any of these three people coming and working with me in my home. Over my lifetime, I have been the victim of abuse. So for me to trust strangers is very hard and is not something I am comfortable doing. Much of the abuse has come at the hands of male figures who present themselves as adverse and aggressive individuals. These three individuals I talk about in this video, T, P, and A, have all treated me with kindness and respect. And I have always been, and they have always been there for me when I've needed them to be. I am greatly appreciative of them for doing that. I have been working with Adapt Health, formerly a line of home oxygen and medical equipment for years now. I was always able to work with the technicians that I wanted to and the ATPs that I wanted to when I worked with a line of home oxygen and medical equipment. And for the most part, I've been able to work with the ATPs that I want to with Adapt Health. However, there are some concerns that I have had recently with technicians that have come out to my home. T came out to my home and did an interview with me on my YouTube channel. In that interview, T told me that I could work with any ATP that I wanted because ATPs did not have territories. It's important to note that I have a manual self-propelled wheelchair and an electric wheelchair that I work with these people. I work on with these people. T said I could work with any ATP that I chose. I just had to request them as a part of my wheelchair assessment and evaluation, which is something that happens before a piece of equipment is selected for me. However, though I've been able to work with the ATPs that I want to, I have not been able to work with the technicians that I am comfortable with lately. According to their website, it says that Adapt Health is a network of full service medical equipment companies that use tailored products and services to empower patients to live their best lives out of the hospital and in their homes. Which, with operators in 47 states, we are able to offer a breadth of clinically driven products and services designed to help patients adapt to life in the home, including sleep, respiratory therapy, diet management, supplies, mobility products, wound care, non-invasive ventilation, and nutrition. So, if we go back to person-centered planning, and by what their website says, you would think, given my history with things that have happened to me in my life, that they would be willing to make a reasonable accommodation to let me work with TP and A interchangeably as I see fit. This, however, does not appear to be the case, as management from the organization has told me that I can work with T and P as I request them, but I cannot work with A because I am outside of his territory, even though A's home base is the same location where P is the ATP. A works as the technician for P out of the Cambridge location. Upon doing a Google search, I was able to locate the distance between the city of Cambridge and my house in Minneapolis. This is what I was able to find. It is approximately 30.2 miles from the office in Cambridge to my house, or about 38 minutes. In previous videos on my YouTube channel, T indicated to me that the technicians would be able to work with me the technicians would be able to work in a 30-mile radius. But that if I wanted to work with a specific technician, I would have to request them. According to what the rehab manager says, I have to work with another person. We can call him TR, because I am in TR's territory. So their technician supervisor told me I cannot work with A because it would be out of his territory and in TR's territory. But T told me that the technicians work within a 60-mile radius. And, as I stated earlier, Cambridge is about 30.2 miles or 38 minutes away from my house here in Minneapolis. Okay, I could work with A, but okay. Okay, but T said to me that as long as my house is in a 60-mile radius of Cambridge location, I could work with A and would not have to worry about TR or anybody from the Twin Cities office, unless it was an emergency situation. When my seating control box popped its motherboard, that became an emergency situation. And therefore, I have had to work with the city's technicians because T was not available, P was on vacation, and A has not been fully certified as a technician as of this time, but he is working on it. I am very very appreciative of the service that I have received from Adapt Health Minnesota and Alina Home Oxygen in medical equipment. However, given the recent circumstances, if it is determined that I cannot work with the three I prefer, I might have to leave the company. Let me be very clear. I do not want to leave the company and don't plan on leaving the company. But leaving the company will be considered as a last resort. This comes down to person-centered planning and the ability for me to have who I want to have in my home, performing the services that I need and making sure that they can do it safely, especially with the current pandemic that we have going on. I do not feel that my request to work with TP&A and not TR is unreasonable. So I ask you, members responsible for making decisions over at Adapt Health, I have been a very loyal customer of yours. Is a technician's territory really worth potentially losing a customer over? Wouldn't it be easier for you and your company just to do what you could to make a customer happy, to make sure that a customer is comfortable, given the past history of abuse, as I stated in my speech? I really hope that you will let me work with TP&A, because I really do value the services that I have received from Adapt Health and would hate to leave the company. I thank you for taking the time to listen to my speech. I wish you all the best and health and safety with what's going on in the world currently. And I ask you to take my requests and concerns and feelings into account so I can be happy and go on living my life the way I want to live my life and being allowed to work with the people I want to work with. This is not an unreasonable request, as I have stated in the speech. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Have a good night, and we will see you in the next video. If you like what you've seen, like, subscribe, and share. Leave an organic comment so that we know that you've been here and we can find our way back to you. Thank you for your support, everyone. Thank you to TP&A for the work that all of them have done for me, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you, and have a good night.